Hip presents so hard, they are feeling it in Brazil. Mamma mia, what a KO!
The fight clock is brought to you by Modelo. One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see.
Incredible. Oh, and down goes Gamboa. Whoop, there it is.
Shevchenko with a huge highlight tonight.
What up, brawlers? Welcome back to Throwin Hands. It's me. It's Toby. Toby's back again. Oh, this is crazy. But Toby, we were literally just talking about this seconds ago. This fight card is stacked.
Yeah, I think this one's flying under the radar a little bit. I think people look at the main event, they see like, oh, an unranked guy in a main event, but that's a good fight, and the whole rest of the card is just littered with good fights as well.
Yeah, it is. Lots of interesting things in the MMA world in the past 3 days since we've been away, but we'll get to that. But we have fights to talk about, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys real quick, and we're just going to hop right into it. First fight is Alexander Romanov versus Blagoy Ivanov. Romanov had a putrid performance against Alexander Volkov in his last fight. I think that's a fair way to describe it. I think he got down to like 236 in his fight before that. He went back to Moldova to train or something like that, and he gained it all back, and Volkov put on a clinic.
Dude, yeah, putrid, pathetic, abysmal. I mean, there's so many adjectives to describe that performance, but it's crazy because this guy looked like a world beater, man. Like a few fights before, people were talking about, this guy's going to be the next champion. He had great wrestling. He was just
They were talking about him
animal.
and John. Like he said, I want John Jones.
Yeah, and people were like, fair enough. And then just like the worst performance I've ever seen against Volkov.
Yeah, I mein, it's not like he's defeated any world beaters. I mean, Martinez, he's one of the worst people to be signed during the whole.
Yeah.
Rogerio de Lima, okay, that's actually a decent win.
Yeah.
Juan Espino, not great. Jared Vandera, not great. Chase Sherman, not great.
Yeah.
Outside of de Lima, Chase Sherman might be his best win, and somehow he ended up in the top 15. But Blagoy Ivanov's on the downturn in his career, and I think this is a pretty good fight for him to get back on track.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, if this were a few fights before, I think this is clear, like Romanov, huge favorite. But Blagoy, he's a tough guy, man. Like if you've never watched him fight, this dude has maybe the best chin in all of the UFC. And if you've never watched him fight, then look at his chest. He's been stabbed straight in the chest, and they mention it on like every broadcast. But
Yeah.
he was nearly dead. But
John Anik
he's
makes
a
sure to
tough
mention
guy.
it.
Yeah, I think this could be a tough fight. But I could really see Blagoy getting like a second or third round finish if Romanov comes in, can't get the takedowns, can't put him away on the feet, and he gets tired and he gets discouraged. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I could too. Hopefully, Romanov comes in looking like this,
Yeah.
faded six-pack kind of. I don't expect him to lose 30 pounds in 3 months. However, I expect him to look better. So if Romanov shows up in shape, he wins this easily. So I'll take a chance on Romanov. I think he gets it by sub.
Yeah, man, it's just a huge gamble. After these last couple of fights, you really never know with this guy now. I mean, is he going to show up in shape? Hopefully. But
Yeah, I hope so too. What's your prediction for this one?
to be completely honest, I'm not like super familiar with Petrovic or Luana Carolina. I do know Carolina because she got destroyed by Molly McCann with that spinning back elbow. And that was one of those vicious knockouts you'll ever see. But
I don't think you recover from something like that.
no, yeah.
Then
You probably
she
don't.
lost a split to Joanne Wood.
I mean, she's tough, like that knockout. Don't get it twisted. She's tough and she'll come forward with a lot of pressure
Yeah,
and throw big strikes. But I mean, I don't
yeah.
know.
Petrovic is making her debut.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Petrovic, to be
Yeah.
honest.
All right. Gram Kutateladze. I don't think you even have to speak much on this versus Elvis Brenner. Elvis, I'm sorry, dude. Like, you're going to a different animal in Kutateladze. So I think Kutateladze by whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup, man. I mean, Garam, we talked about this the other day, I think, but his two fights in the UFC are Damir Ismagulov and Mateusz Gamrot, and he beat Mateusz Gamrot in his debut. Now, Elvis Brenner, I mean, he's a tough guy. I think he's one of the shoot the box guys. He fights with
I
like
think
Charles
he is.
Oliveira,
Yes.
all those guys, and they're a great camp. I mean, they've got a lot of good fighters coming out of there now, and he's gonna come forward, pressure you, try to get you down. But I just, if guys like Demir and guys like Gamrot had trouble getting down Garam, I really don't see Elves getting him down, right?
No.
Like, so I
Yeah.
think it's pretty cut and dry, Garam
Yeah.
easily.
Look, he's a big lightweight too. Look how shredded he has
Yeah.
to get down there. Like, good lord.
This guy is shredded. The only thing is that he's not super active, but as we discussed previously, people just
No
don't
one's
want to fight
fighting
him. So it's a tough situation, but
We have a featherweight bout. Ooh. Yana Santos versus Carol Rosa. This was just added, so can't really pull anything up. Yana Santos probably fought pregnant a couple years ago.
yeah.
Baby's great. But Carol Rosa, I don't know, man. Look, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not a big fan of women's bantamweight without Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, the skill drop off between Amanda and then everyone else is really significant. And I think it's going to be pretty evident in this fight. Honestly, I thought they scrapped the featherweight division. Is this just like
I think these two, they both had bout. I think so. Santos had a fight canceled against, I don't remember. But Carol Rosa stepped in and Yana didn't want to cut weight again, so they're like, we'll just move up to featherweight.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, as far as the fight goes, I'm not too sure. If anyone doesn't know, Yana used to be Yana Kunitskaya, but she's married to Thiago Santos now. So that's cool. But
That's a deadly household. Jeez.
but yeah, I mean, as far as the fight goes, probably favor Yana Santos in this one, just
Yeah.
slightly. It's a toss up, it could
Yeah,
be
it's
gonna
a
be a
tough
decision, probably. It's gonna be a split decision.
I think the most boring fight ever was when Yana Santos just wrestled Ketlin Vieira.
There's
I
been some boring ones, man.
I think that might be the most. I would rather watch paint dry than watch that again.
Dude, would you
Not
rather
even
watch Carla Esparza versus Rose Namajunas?
I'd
Second
honestly
fight?
rather watch that one because Yana Santos just laid and did just enough for the ref not to stand him. It was horrible. Horrible.
Jeez.
All right. Joe Anderson Brito versus Weston Wilson. It's a fun fight.
Yeah.
I like Brito a lot. He's a fun fighter.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about Mr. Wilson. But I think Wilson's making his debut. I'm not certain. Yeah, he's making his debut.
Yeah, his debut. But yeah, Brito, he's good, man. I remember we knocked out Andre Fili. That was like, second or
yeah.
third fight in the UFC, and Fili is no slouch. He's fought some of the best guys in the division. He's fought like Cub Swanson, Max Holloway. He's fought a ton of good guys.
And he fought Bill Algeo in his debut, so like,
yeah,
that's a tough ask. And then he beat Alexander. Like he's fought some tough guys to open up his career in the UFC. So I think Brito takes this, man.
Yeah, I would agree. He's a legit, really good prospect. He comes out like just blazing. He's one of those guys just comes out right out of the gate, tries to get you out of there. So we'll see if this goes into the later round, what happens. But like you said, this is the debut of Wilson, so we'd have to see with him too.
Yeah, we'll see. I think Brito takes it by KO, second round.
Yeah, I could see it.
We are about to find out where Kevin Lee fits into this mess. Assalamu alaikum, Kevin Lee. Assalamu alaikum. He's a newly converted Muslim, if you didn't know. So cool stuff there.
Nice, yeah.
Ali Abdelaziz is his new manager, and he might have tickled Dana a little bit to get Kevin Lee back into the UFC after that abysmal performance against Diego Sanchez. An old Diego Sanchez, not prime, old Diego Sanchez.
A post Joshua Fabia Diego Sanchez.
Terrible. But they couldn't have put him up against a harder dude to come back to, Renat Fakhretdinov. Dude, you and I said, Kevin Lee's too big for lightweight, but he's too small for welterweight. This guy is legit welterweight, and he is a problem.
Yeah, man. I think Ali got him back in the UFC, but Dana was like, "Look, I'm gonna let you back in, but you got to fight the hardest guy, probably that's not ranked in the whole division, right?" And so this is just a really tough matchup. I mean, Kevin Lee, hasn't exactly had a great win in a while. Well, the Gregor Gillespie fight, that was 3-4 years ago at this point. That was a beautiful knockout, but outside of that, The Diego Sanchez win doesn't really mean much. Yeah, he lost to D-Rod, got dropped in that fight. I think he lost to Oliveira, lost to RDA. He got finished by RDA, finished by Oliveira. I mean,
Hmm.
he was once a very, very talented guy. Like, don't get me wrong. He was once the top prospect in the division. He almost beat Tony Ferguson in their interim
Yeah,
title fight.
he had him at
So,
one point.
but it's just yeah, he just can't stay consistent. I think you mentioned this last time we were on that he's just a little too big for lightweight, a little too small for welterweight. So I don't know. He doesn't fit anywhere into here. I think he's going to fit into Bellator, to be honest. Yeah,
He's gonna join his brother Keith in Bellator.
yeah. Unfortunately, after this
Yeah,
one,
I think Fakrdinov subs him in like the second or something. It might be a wash, bro.
yeah. This dude. I mean, he has like infinite cardio. It seems like he will take you down 100 times. He'll strike with you on on the feet, no problem. I mean, this guy's just a killer, man.
He's interesting, man. I think he'll fit right into the top 15. No problem. He
Yeah.
he made Ryan Battle look like a child.
Yeah, dude, and man, welterweight is getting crazy heated right now. You've
Yeah,
got
it's
Della
a fun division.
Maddalena, Hamza, you've got
Rachmanov.
Rachmanov. I mean, these guys, man.
Yeah, we'll talk. We have some matchups we have to talk about. So we'll talk about welterweight more in a few moments. But Bruno Fajeda versus Nursultan Ruziboyev. I looked this dude up from Uzbekistan. This dude is a savage. This is a middleweight bout. That surprised me because he fought in lightweight.
Wow.
And for Fajeda beat RoboCop. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe in the he fought him in Brave. So
Mhm.
I don't know maybe if they do their divisions a little differently over there, but
They
I don't know. I
might. They
looked this
might.
dude up. He can wrestle. He can strike. He can do just about anything. He's very well rounded. But Bruno Fajeda is a tough matchup to come into the UFC against.
Yeah, man. Nursultan, he seems legit. Yeah, I've watched a little bit of him. He seems like he's a very well-rounded, good athlete. Yeah, Bruno Ferreira, I wouldn't say he's overly talented in any one area, but he has devastating power. Like his
Yeah.
knockout of Gregory Rodriguez, it was a clean one punch KO. Did it like he followed up, but he did not need to follow up. Like that was a violent, violent knockout with one shot. So he's always got that nuclear option. And I don't know. RoboCop was kind of beating him up in that fight. He wasn't really looking that good, but if you have that in your back pocket, then it doesn't really matter too much. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. This is a tough one to choose. Uh, Nursultan's actually favored.
Yeah.
But I mean, Fajeda has that one hitter quitter power, man. So I think I'll take Fajeda. It's a toss up for me, man. It's almost a pick 'em too in the odds.
Yeah, it's definitely a toss-up. I would almost favor Nursultan just because I think he's gonna just grind out a decision. He's fought some high-level competition. He's got good cardio, good wrestling, good grappling. I think he's probably just gonna, if he can avoid that power shot, I think he'll just take a decision.
Yeah, for sure. Um, this fight, Ishmael Bonfim versus Benoit Saint Denis. This is a fun fight, man. Bonfim coming off a win against Terrence McKinney. Might be the knockout of the year as of
Just
right now.
spectacular win. I mean, one of the best knockouts you'll ever
And
see.
then Gabriel Miranda, Benoit Saint Denis' last fight was a loss against Gabriel Miranda. Benoit Saint Denis is the victim of that horrible ref from 267, I think. That fight should have been stopped rounds before, and the ref got kicked out of the arena. So
Yeah.
that was bad. That was horrible. But this is a fun fight, man. I expect banger through and through.
Yeah, I'm leaning pretty heavy towards Bonfim. I'm really high on him as a prospect. I think he's going to do a lot in this division. But I will say, Benoit Saint Denis is a super tough guy, and he gets into bangers. You can never count him out. He's going to probably try to draw him into a war. We'll see what happens. But I think Bonfim, he's calm under pressure, and Terrence McKinney is really good. So I think Bonfim gets it done.
Yeah, I do too. I think Bonfim probably gets the decision. Benoit Saint Denis is so tough. Like that's a tough guy to take out. Oh, Saint Denis beat Miranda. It's been a long day, guys. All right. Ariana Lipsky versus Melissa Gatto. Interesting fight. the Polish Brazilian Ariane Lipski. Very solid. I think she's a solid fighter. She always manages to find a way off the chopping block once she's very, very close to it. That's a good way to describe her UFC career. And then Melissa Gatto. She's all right. She does her thing. She's nothing too special, I don't think. But she did lose to Tracy Cortez, and she hasn't fought in like a year. So it's an interesting situation. Interesting fight. But this is, I don't know. I think it's the only women's fight, the second women's fight on the card. It's probably the best women's fight on the card. So I think Lipski could pull out a submission here. So this is a fun fight, though.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It seems like it's a bit of high placement on the card, I would say.
That is
But
true.
but then again, I mean, Ariana Lipski, which is like the queen of violence, I think that's her nickname, and she gets into fun fights. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one turns out to be kind of a back and forth war here.
Yep, the queen
Yeah.
of violence.
I think this one's a toss up, to be honest.
That's right. She beat JJ Aldridge in the last fight.
Yeah.
Priscilla Cachoeira, Mindy Bone. She's fought some good people as of late.
Yeah.
She's on the upswing. But this is a fun fight. Max Griffin versus Michael Morales. Max Griffin always brings it. If you want bangers, man, Max Griffin's your guy, honestly. And then Michael Morales always brings the heat too, undefeated. No, this is not Spider-Man, but had to make that joke. But this is, Morales beating Trevin Giles. Max Griffin, he had a great fight against Neil Magny back in Columbus a year and a half ago or so. But I was there, fun fight. But yeah, right. It's the shirt.
Yeah, there it is.
I got it off the UFC website in November for $15. They were selling it for
Oh,
80
wow.
at the fight. So I'm like, I'll wait and then I'll get the shirt.
Dude, the merch at fights is ridiculously overpriced. It's unbelievable.
But tons of people get it anyway.
Yeah, it's like a 200% upcharge.
Yeah.
It's
I'm like,
crazy.
why not I'm like, I'll just wait like half a year and buy the shirt at like 80% off. So
It's
I got
ridiculous. Yeah.
It's the same shirt.
That's why I buy a bunch of jackets during the summer, and long pants and stuff, because it's like, well, it's just on sale, but I'll just
Exactly.
wait to wear it during winter,
That's how you got to think of things. Oh, is your dog back there?
Yeah.
Oh, I love your dog. But what's your thoughts on this one, man? This is fun.
Oh, this is a fantastic matchup, man. I was going back and watching some of Max Griffin's fights, and I had forgotten about the Ramiz Brahma fight
Ooh.
where he lands an elbow and Brahma's ear basically detaches and is falling off the side of his head. If you ever want to see a brutal fight, go watch that. His eye is all swollen up too, but his ear was basically falling off. But anyway, Max Griffin, man, he's got some violent knockouts. The one of Song Kanan, extremely violent. In a lot of his fights,
Oh, I forgot about that.
like even the ones that he's lost, even the Neil Magny fight, there's a good argument that he won that fight.
Yeah, there is.
He's super powerful. He's got pretty decent cardio considering how much hot like power he puts into every shot. And Michael Morales, I mean, his last fight I think was against Adam Fugit. He was he looked like he was gassing a little bit. Now, granted, he did end up getting the finish, and but his hands were down. He was breathing pretty heavy. He didn't look great. His cardio looked to be lacking a little bit. So hopefully in this fight he comes prepared and he comes with much better cardio. Like I said, he still finished that last fight, but I think this is going to be a pretty close one. But I would almost lean Max Griffin on this, but I do think Michael Morales is legit. It's going to be a fun fight.
Yeah, it will be. Tough one to decide on. I think Max Griffin ekes it out. I think he finishes him.
Yeah, he's got so much experience too in the UFC. He's got he's got a good many losses, but he's just got a lot of high level experience, and he's been pretty hot as of late. I think like 4 out of his last 5 wins.
Yeah,
So
I completely agree. Look at these odds, dude. These odds are not steep enough in Damir Ismagulov's favor. It's -145 in favor of Ismagulov. If you ever want to bet Ismagulov, guys, this is the weekend to do it.
by the way, that's not betting advice. We're just telling you that these are the odds. Don't sue us.
Yeah, don't sue us, man. But yeah, I don't see any path to victory for Grant Dawson in this fight. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I mean, I was thinking the same thing, right? Like Demir is incredibly talented, super well-rounded guy. He's quick. He has incredible cardio, fantastic wrestling, grappling. He does it all. But I was going back and watching some of Grant Dawson's fights. he hasn't lost in the UFC so far. The only fight he's had a draw, but other than that, he's won every single fight. Now, some of those performances have not been the greatest, right? He gassed in a lot of those fights and ended up just kind of writing out decisions. But he has great submissions. He had a fantastic finish over Leonardo Santos, where it was like 1 second left, and he pounded him out with some hammer fist. With all that being said, though, I do think Demir is going to win this fight, but I think it's going to be fairly close.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Um, but yeah, I think you make some good points. Grant Dawson really hasn't lost in the UFC yet, so I don't know. We'll see. And I know Demir has that heart problem, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll see how, how that's being treated and stuff. But
Yeah,
all right.
he's had some health issues, man. I think he was on crutches for a long time. Like he broke his leg or something. I don't know. He's had a lot of
Yeah.
health issues, but
Edge Lord Sean Strickland versus Abus Nurmagomedov. Abus Magomedov, rather. Do you think if you know this, you know that this is who Chael was talking about, that the Nogueira brothers were feeding the carrots
yes,
to?
a
Yeah.
boost, a boost.
If you know, you know. Deep humor. But edgelord Sean Strickland, man. Props to him for taking this fight. He didn't have to take this fight. He could have waited for some ranked opponents, but he said, man, the pay was right, and I figured that I could take this. So
Yeah, I saw that, man. I mean, you gotta love his confidence. You gotta love his willingness to accept tough fights, and he's getting rewarded for it. What has he been in main events like? And like four of his last five fights or something have been main events.
yeah,
So
let me see if we can look. I
I think
think
the only one that wasn't was the Pereira fight.
yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, Hermans versus Strickland, Hall versus Strickland.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And he's looked pretty good. I mean, I think a lot of people, they see his personality, or, they see him online and they're like, I don't like this guy, but he's a good fighter. And yeah, he's a bit one-dimensional. He stands up super tall. Like he's a very straight up fighter. He does a lot of hand fighting. He'll try to parry a lot of shots. And that's what got him finished against Pereira. But I think this is not a terrible matchup for him. I mean, I think he'll do pretty good in this fight.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Abus has only had one UFC fight, and that was against Dustin Soltzfus
Yeah.
in France. He got knocked out in the PFL championship, I think. So this is really, I don't know, this is interesting. Maybe they just want to inject some new talent into the middleweight division, because it doesn't seem like there's been a new guy to come into that top 15 forever.
No, yeah, they're definitely trying to do that. They're doing it with Paulo Costa too. They're trying to get these guys out of here. The top five, top 10 has been pretty stagnant for a while at middleweight.
That Paulo Costa fight versus Ikram is going to be
That should be a
heater.
fun one. That should be a fun
Gonna
one.
be heater. Hopefully Paulo Costa by knockout. But anyway, I think Sean Strickland just grinds out a decision like he always does. He's just gonna jab, 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 parry, 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 jab, jab, jab. That's how I see it going.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think it's gonna be a really close fight. But I think Strickland's gonna take this one, and I really hope that he at least feints some level changes. Because people don't realize he's actually a pretty solid wrestler,
Yeah,
a really good grappler.
He wrestled Hermanson.
Yeah, man, he's a solid wrestler, and he's got good grappling as well. So I would, even if he doesn't like fully commit to a lot of shots, I want to see him at least feinting these level changes, mixing things up. I would love to see that. But yeah, I think also the X factor is just going to be experience, man. Like you said, Abus, he's only had one fight in the UFC against Dustin Soltzfus, and you just look at Strickland, just his past few fights. You're talking about Nasruddin Imavov, Cannonier, Pereira, Hermanson, Uriah Hall. Like he's fought the best of the best. So
Yeah. What'd you think of that video I sent of Sean Strickland road raging?
I think he should definitely stop doing that, because that's how you get killed. You talk to the wrong guy and they pull a gun on you and they kill you.
Yeah. Part of it was like Sean Strickland's like, no, I don't really want to use weapons. I think we should just get out and fight. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah, I'm sure there's so many rational people out there who are just going to agree to a fist fight with you and not kill you in a road rage incident. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I understand you completely trust yourself to get in a street fight with somebody, because odds are they are not going to beat you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
However, there's no rules in the streets, Sean.
Dude, it doesn't matter with a gun or a knife or something. Yeah, no rules out there.
Those videos are hilarious though, because he's
Yeah.
oh no man, I don't have a gun. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got some really deep issues that he needs to address, man. He's a very angry guy.
I mean,
He's
he's
funny
even
though.
said it himself.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. He's
Yeah,
self-aware. He's self-aware for
yeah,
sure.
he's self-aware. But Mexican Independence Fight Night, everybody. You're right about Sean Strickland. He is actually pretty damn self-aware.
Yeah, for
So you got
sure.
to give him credit there. But all right, so Alexa Grasso, Valentina Shevchenko on the main card is the headline for this Mexican Independence Fight Night. This is a fight night, championship on a fight night. This is awesome. But we got Kelvin Gastelum versus Shavkat Rakhmonov as the co-main event. Woo, that is a
Ooh, man.
heater. That is a heater.
Dude, this is a battle of who has the biggest head in the UFC. Absolute blockhead, Kelvin Gastelum versus Rachmanov. Like these guys have ginormous heads, and they're probably going to beat the crap out of each other. It's going to be a fun one. I mean, I think if anybody thinks that Rachmanov is going to come in there and just run through him in a minute, I wouldn't be so sure. At least maybe like 3 or 4 minutes. Like, come on, give him a little credit,
Yeah.
guys.
I mean, this is a win. This is a I mean, Shavkat, people are saying, like, oh, this is a weird fight for Shavkat. I'm like, no, it's not. Kelvin Gastelum has name value, and he's a great fighter.
Oh
So,
yeah,
and like, no one in the top 5 is really fit to fight right now because, Bilal Muhammad's not going to fight anybody unless for a title, which I think is ridiculous.
yeah.
He hasn't shown me anything amazing like Ilia Topuria has in a sense. Usman, I think Shavkat, that's the only fight that Shavkat would have taken.
Yeah.
And then, Burns is hurt. Colby's fighting for the title. Yeah, it's just welterweight's kind of a mess. It's always been a mess.
Dude, yeah. I mean, but
Shmaev, who knows?
dude, people who are discounting Kelvin Gastelum, look at his record. Anybody who wants to sleep on Kelvin Gastelum, this guy might have the best record in the welterweight, like in terms of who he's fought, not like actually who he's beat, but just the guys that he's fought, literally just former champion after former champion, contender after contender.
Yeah.
And he's won some and he's lost some, but
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go through some of them. Chris Curtis was his last fight. Chris Curtis, source loser in the UFC. Let's be honest here. Jared Cannonier, he might have won that fight.
yeah, it was close, definitely close.
Yeah. Bobby Knuckles, he ate some gnarly shots. Ian Heinisch, Jacker Manson, Darren Till, Israel Adesanya, Jacare,
Greatest fight
Michael
ever versus
Bisping.
Izzy. I don't care what anyone says, that's the greatest fight of all time.
It's one of the greatest fights ever. Yeah. Vitor Belfort, Chris Weidman, Tim Kennedy, Johnny Hendricks, Neil Magny, Nate Marquardt,
It goes on and
Tyron
on,
Woodley,
man.
Jake Ellenberger, like
Fought everybody.
Trevor Story, like Uriah Hall. Like, who hasn't this dude fought?
You know what's even crazier? Isn't Kelvin Gastelum like 31?
He's 31.
31. It's like, come on, man. Yeah, but with all this being said, and I respect the hell out of Kelvin Gastelum, I do think Shavkat gets it done. It's probably going to be a finish, but I think it's going to be a lot tougher than many people would expect.
Yeah, I think Kelvin Gastelum can contend for a title at 170 personally.
Yeah. Oh, I keep forgetting this is at 172. And I mean, that could make a big difference, man. Cutting that extra weight. If he looks good, if he looks really good, who knows? But
I mean, the thing is with Kelvin, he just has to get on the treadmill a little more. It's not like he's like a big muscular dude who has to shave down.
no.
No, he'll be fine. Ooh,
No, I think Kelvin, honestly,
yeah.
I think he would benefit from being at welterweight because he actually is pretty fluid and he moves really well for his body type. Like,
Yes.
he doesn't look like an athletic guy, but he is very athletic for
He's a
whatever
freak
reason.
athlete.
He's such a good athlete. So I like the move as long as he stays disciplined, like you said. And I think he's been training with Cejudo a lot at that Fight Ready camp out there in Arizona. So I think he's going to be in pretty good shape for this fight. And he's got to know. I mean, this is like this is a critical fight for him.
Yeah, this is the most critical point in his career.
Yeah, for sure.
Jake Matthews will fight Miguel Baeza at UFC 291. Heater.
Banger.
Another heater on that card, bro. That is
Big old
awesome.
banger.
Cheeto versus Cejudo's off. Cejudo has a tear in his right shoulder.
I saw that.
Cheeto called out Piotr Jan.
Fun matchup.
I'm all for it. Sign me up.
Dude, yeah, that's super unfortunate about Henry Cejudo, but that would be a great fight too. Jan versus Cheeto. Honestly, though, I gotta say, I think Jan would honestly dominate that fight. His pressure, the volume that he puts out, and he's got such good defense, man. Because Cheeto capitalizes on like defensive laps that people have, but I don't think Piotr Jan is just going to have that lapse in defense like many other fighters would. He's
Yeah.
so sound
It,
when it
it's
comes to boxing defense.
yeah, it'll be an interesting fight if that ever happens. I hope it does, because that'd
I
be
hope it does
sick.
too. Yeah,
Um,
it makes sense too.
yeah, it does. Absolutely. Tracy Cortez will fight Jasmine Jasudavakis on Mexican
Yeah,
Independence
Juice
Day.
Vicious, I think, something like that.
Jasudavakis, I don't know, man. That's a tough name. It sounds like
Yeah, it is.
a Roman last name, Jasudavakis.
But Tracy Cortez, that's Brian Ortega's girlfriend.
I think they broke up.
Oh, sorry, Brian. I didn't mean to open that wound,
Hey,
man.
one moment for Brian.
Yeah, that's a big loss, honestly. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
man. That
Moment of
sucks.
silence. 1 minute. One moment. All right, we're back. But yeah, that sucks. And
That's a
it
fun
sucked.
matchup,
It
though.
sucks for Tracy too, man. Come on,
Yeah,
Brian.
yes.
They,
He's a handsome guy, man.
they seemed like a power couple. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, here we go. UFC power couple incoming.
Yeah, Brian Ortega, he's a handsome guy. He was doing those Modelo commercials for a long time. You know,
He's the Toyo Tires man,
he's
dog.
a Toyo Tires guy. Yeah, come on, that sucks.
When I first saw that, I'm like, out of all the people you could have chose to box Toyo Tires, Brian Ortega?
I know the known boxer Brian Ortega, right?
Although his boxing has looked crisp in his past couple fights, so
It's getting a little better. Yeah.
he's been hitting the tire, man. That's what he's been doing.
Dude, I think it was ever since the Holloway fight, and Holloway grabbed his hands and was showing him how to block mid-fight. I think that really helped him out
Humbling.
a lot. Yeah.
Mean Hakeem Duwadu is back, fighting Cub Swanson.
That's a bad.
Oh, Cub.
I mean, Cub kind of had a bit of a resurgence, though. You know, had the Daniel Pineda finish. He had the finish of Darren Elkins, and Elkins is a tough dude. But yeah, that's a tough matchup, man.
Isn't Darren Elkins has that tattoo on him like the danger, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's a fun guy to watch. Super good chin, but
yeah,
Cub cracked him, man.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Oh, yeah, he did lose to Jonathan Martin. I forgot he got beat up pretty bad in his last fight.
Yeah.
Cub, damn.
Bellator fight. Oh, Chris Lencioni had that cardiac arrest. He's finally responding to stuff. So.
Oh yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah, let's hope that dude's having a solid recovery. Okay, we got to talk about edgelord Sean Strickland real quick. This dude is nuts, man. Like I didn't think he'd get more out of pocket than he has this week.
What is he up to now? I haven't really been watching like the press conferences or anything.
He said like we should go back to the time when women couldn't vote, and like so we can give all the income to the males so we can have like a one income household type thing again.
Wow, that's an interesting take.
That's pretty edgy, isn't it?
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I saw some video of this like 20-something-year-old female YouTuber who was basically making the same argument. Her name was like Just Pearly Things. I was like, what? Like, what are you're advocating for your own oppression? I mean, yeah, that's cool, I guess.
People are questionable these days, man.
It's all about attention, bro. In the case of Sean Strickland, though, it's not about attention. He's a very legit guy. It seems like the dude's got conviction. If nothing else, he's got conviction.
Yeah, really. Outside of that, that's really all there's been. But I haven't stopped thinking about Ilya Taporia, to be honest.
Yeah.
Whew.
Dude, no, I will say, I think we missed the biggest news, which is that Conor McGregor has a handlebar mustache, and people are freaking out about it now.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about
this. He looks not in great shape. Also, his team not in great shape.
No, 0-5.
The Ultimate Fighter, they're doing awful. So
how much do you think he coaches?
Not at all. He probably just tells them about how many awesome wins he has and all the crazy adventures that he's been on.
Well, I knocked out Jose.
Yeah. They're like, no, yeah, we know, man. We saw, but can you give me...
went jab, box step, left hook, hammer fist.
It's like, yeah, so how do I apply that to my fight that's coming up? He's like, oh, right, yeah. He gets it with one of his other coaches. Yeah, come over here.
And the thing is, I think Conor could actually be a fantastic coach.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he's got good insight, I'm sure.
Yeah. Just crazy stuff. Yeah, man, that's all I got. Do you got anything else?
No, I think I actually just saw this headline about the UFC was able to reduce the amount paid to fighters by over $30 million from 2022 to 2021, despite like a huge increase in profit. And also they merged with the WWE sometime last year, so they just like have grown exponentially basically. But they're still managing to pay guys less. I will say that was from bjpin.com. I'd have to verify that through other sources. So take that
bjpen.com.
take that with a grain of salt, guys.
Take it. Yeah, take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, that'll do it for us here on Throwing Hands. When we come back, we'll review Fight Night Strickland versus Magomedov. And then, yeah, man, it's International Fight Week.
Yeah, awesome. Really looking forward to
Yes.
that.
I'm looking forward to it too. But we'll see you guys next time.
Peace out, man.